Since Apple announced Apple HomeKit back in 2014, the number of devices that support it went through the roof. And at some point, Apple also stopped requiring manufacturers to add a special security chip that was necessary to support Apple HomeKit. And now it's simply just a matter of a software update to enable the device to support Apple HomeKit. And right now, besides things like smart light bulbs, smart thermostats, smart speakers, and other things I actually already spoke about on this channel, there is already some less conventional devices like smart windows and smart fans. But these kind of devices might not be the best for someone who's just getting started with HomeKit. So in this video, I would like to walk you through some of my recommendations when it comes to the best devices to start your adventure with building a smart home. So the first device on my list is Apple TV, and that's a pretty outdated device, and currently Apple sells two different models of it. So first of all, we have Apple TV HD, and then there is Apple TV 4K. And besides supporting different kinds of resolutions, there's also some differences when it comes to the performance. Basically, the Apple TV 4K is more powerful, which is kind of obvious considering that it has to support a higher resolution. But hopefully, if you're watching this video in the future, there's already a new model of Apple TV on the market. So you might ask, why am I actually recommending an outdated device? First of all, if your TV is old and it doesn't have any smart features, it's a natural choice when it comes to making it smart. And of course, here there's a lot of much cheaper solutions on the market, like newly announced Chromecast with Google TV, for example, which costs half the price of Apple TV HD, and without even saying about the price of Apple TV 4K. But I think the most important thing to have in mind when it comes to Apple TV and Apple HomeKit is the fact that you can use it as a home hub. This basically means that you are able to access any smart home devices that you have in your home using your phone, no matter where you are in the world. And that can be very useful if you just want to make sure that all the lights are off, or maybe that the device that you connected to a smart outlet is also off. And besides that, if you have a home hub, you're also able to run automations based on the location as well as the time of the day. And once again, I think that Apple TV is actually a really good device when it comes to controlling a TV. And maybe even if you already have a smart TV, it's worth considering because it's a really fast device despite having very outdated processor, and I really love how the interface looks like, feels like, and how easy is it to navigate around it. There is some things about it that I don't like that much. For example, the fact that I cannot use Siri only because I live in Germany, and apparently Apple believes that owners of Apple TV who live in Germany don't speak English, despite the fact that I'm able to talk to all of my other Apple devices on my iPad, on my Apple Watch, on my iPhone, on my Mac in English. So I don't know what's the drill here, but I hate that. And this makes this ridiculous Apple TV remote kind of useless for me. I mean, I can still use the voice dictation feature to look for movies, but I cannot use Siri, so I cannot control all of my other Apple HomeKit devices. But if you speak the language of the country that you live in, which you should, and that's my fault, I know, then I think you can actually get quite a lot out of this small remote, which is also quite fragile, and I'm really scared that one day I will just shatter the glass in front of it. So I would just put it down and don't touch it ever again. My next recommendation is Apple HomePod. So again, it's very likely that when you're watching this video, there's already a new announcement from Apple called probably HomePod Mini, if everyone is correct. So if all of these rumors are true and it's going to cost 99 euro, then I think it's really worth considering getting it. So first of all, HomePod, at least the big one, it sounds amazing. And I had one of these before I switched to the Sonos system. And I must admit, I kind of miss having it just because how well it sounds. And my favorite feature of HomePod is the fact that it's a 360 speaker, so it doesn't matter where you place it in your apartment, it's going to fill the room with sound. And similarly to Apple TV, it can also serve you as a home hub. So for example, if you're a person who doesn't want to have a TV at home, or maybe your TV already has smart features and you don't want to buy Apple TV, then getting a HomePod might be a right solution for you if you want to have a home hub at home that you can use for automations and so on. And when it comes to HomePod, there's no restrictions when it comes to Siri, so you can live in Germany, speak English to it, and it's going to work just fine. And yes, I'm looking at you, Apple TV, you're horrible. Thanks for ruining my life. Next device on my list is kind of off, and that's an iPad. So if you're a person who doesn't want to buy an Apple TV because you already have a smart TV, or maybe you're a person who doesn't want to buy a HomePod because you already have different sound system in your apartment, or you just don't want to have a smart speaker with a microphone inside. And with all of these things in mind, you still would want to have a home hub so that you can control all of your devices using automations. Then there is actually a way so that you can set up an iPad and use it as a home hub. But there is of course some catches when it comes to this solution. So first of all, the iPad always has to be at home. Second, it always needs power. And third, it always needs to be connected to your home Wi-Fi. If you have an iPad lying around your home and you're not planning on buying an Apple TV or HomePod just to have a home hub device, then you can simply just use your iPad, and I think that's a solution that may work for many people. Next one are TVs. A couple years ago, Apple announced a collaboration with a few different TV manufacturers, including companies like Samsung, LG, and Sony. And that resulted in, first of all, support for AirPlay 2 for all of these TVs. And some of them also got the Apple TV app, and some others also got Apple Music app. And almost all of these manufacturers, excluding Samsung for some reason, also got support for HomeKit. And this integration allows you to add a HomeKit compatible TV to your HomeKit automations and also control it using the HomeKit app. So again, if you don't want to buy an Apple TV, but maybe you would be more interested in getting a TV that has all of the Apple features included, then that might be a great solution for you. Next one are speakers, and that's already something that I covered on my channel in a video about Symfonisk speakers from IKEA. So AirPlay 2 speakers in some ways are kind of similar to HomePod, and they allow you to have a multi-room setup without using other systems like Bose or Sonos. But unlike the HomePod, most of them don't have any smart assistants built in. Of course, none of them have Siri built in, and they cannot serve as the source of the audio. So you always have to play music through your phone, iPad, or any other Apple device. And the number of companies that support AirPlay 2 is growing with every month. And the list already includes companies like Libratone, Sonos, Bose, Bang & Olufsen, and Beats by Dre. Although Beats by Dre never released any AirPlay 2 speakers, so I have no idea what they're doing there. And in my case, I have 3 of the IKEA Symfonisk speakers, and I really enjoy using them, and I think they sound really good. And combined with all the AirPlay 2 features, they work really, really well. Next one are lights, and that's an obvious choice for many people who are just getting into smart home. But there's literally hundreds of different options on the market, so picking the one for you might be really hard. And that's actually one of the biggest benefits of Apple HomeKit, because you're able to use devices from many different manufacturers without worrying about compatibility issues. And that allows you to have setups that have, for example, more basic light bulbs like the one behind me, and combine that with light strips from different company. But currently there's one downside when it comes to buying devices from different manufacturers, because currently most of them require you to have an extra bridge that allows them to communicate with your Apple Home Hub. So even though you use Apple TV or HomePod as a home hub, you still need an additional device that's going to talk to your light bulbs. Hopefully that's going to change in the future, and things like Apple being part of Smart Home over IP Alliance give us a little bit of hope in that regard. Next device on my list are smart thermostats, and if you watch my previous video about Tado smart thermostats, you know that I'm a big advocate for this category of devices. And I think that smart thermostats really show one thing I would love all of the smart home devices to be like. Just the simple fact that after you set up the devices, after you tell it how you want to use it, you can completely forget about it, and temperature at your home will adjust depending on the weather, depending on where you are, what time is it, and so on. And I really wish all the devices available out there worked like that. So if you're thinking about getting your first smart home device and you want it to just work and don't think about it, get smart thermostats. Next are motion sensors. And here it's worth to point out that Apple HomeKit supports a bunch of different sensors like smoke detectors, water leak sensors, contact sensors for doors and windows, and again, motion sensors. Of course, all of them can be very helpful, but I found motion sensors to be most useful for most people. And I think that if you install a few motion sensors around your house, you can achieve the same results I was just talking about when it comes to smart thermostats with lighting around your apartment. So for example, if you have a motion sensor in your kitchen, you don't have to think about turning on the light every time you enter the kitchen. Or for example, if you have a motion sensor in your bedroom and you wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and then you have smart lights in your bathroom, you can make sure that only one light bulb above the toilet turns on at 1% of brightness, which is the best thing ever, and I think everyone should have that in their apartment. And also many motion sensors double as temperature and humidity sensors, like the one I have from OnVis. So that gives you also some additional data that you can use later on in your HomeKit automations. The next recommendation might sound kind of silly, but bear with me. Buttons. So if you have a HomeKit button, you can assign any action to single, double, or a long press. And that can be great for multiple different things. But in my case, I set up one of these buttons to, first of all, control 2 of the lights that I have in my bedroom, and second of all, to turn on a good night scene. So the good night scene in my case just turns off all the devices in my home, leaving humidifier in my bedroom running. And I find it to be much faster than, for example, using a smart speaker or even using your phone, which I also try not to keep in my bedroom. So if you're looking for a solution to assign some scenes or control multiple devices at the same time, get buttons. And last but not least are HomeKit cameras. So actually, I don't have any HomeKit cameras in my apartment right now, but I think this category is getting really interesting, especially with new devices being announced and prices going down very, very fast. So last year, together with iOS 14, Apple announced HomeKit Secure Video. All of the data from HomeKit Secure Video, instead of going through the manufacturer servers, is securely stored in Apple's own iCloud. And there is plenty of options available on the market that are quite affordable. For example, there is this camera from Xiaomi called GH2, that costs just €50. And then of course you have solutions from companies like Logitech and Eufy that also support HomeKit Secure Video. So if you're looking into getting some smart cameras, I think this is a great solution that doesn't require you to have any subscription besides iCloud that you're already probably paying for. So yeah, these are my recommendations when it comes to getting HomeKit devices if you are just starting. And if you'd like to learn more about some of these devices, I already made some videos on this channel and I'm going to link some of them in the description to this video. Or you can also just simply click here and I think there's a playlist with smart home devices that I created. And if you have any questions about Apple HomeKit, be sure to drop them in the comments down below, or you can just simply reach out to me on Twitter. And if you're new to the channel and you would like to see more videos like this one, be sure to subscribe. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.